Hi, this is Betty. I'm out in my garden this morning doing some work, and I just wanted to show you how well this garden bed is doing. Planted beans a few days ago, and they're already coming up, and this batch was planted first, so they're looking pretty good. I don't have too many problems with them yet, and hopefully won't have any. But anyway, so that is doing really well. You can tell I'm getting weeds, of course. I'll have to take care of that later. And this garden bed is the one that came up with more weeds than beans, and the beans just haven't done well. You can see that they had some problems. I don't know why they came up and then they just dried up like that and died. Here's one that's died. Looks to me like they couldn't handle the temperatures, or I don't know. But the company said that the kind that I got was the Blue Lake, I think 247 or whatever, are not as hardy as some of their other varieties, and so they replaced them with a hardier variety. We'll see how those do. But from the looks, I planted this garden with them, and they're doing better, the hardier variety. I think it's Blue Lake 47. But anyway, that's just some of the problems that I've had in the garden, was the beans not coming up like they should and then dying. Now I'm going to show you another problem. And this one, this is my cucumber, and it is having some issues. It's growing, quite well. I can, it's getting taller, but there's no blossoms. And then the leaves down here at the bottom are getting this weird brown-yellow pattern on them. So I'm thinking it has a virus of some kind. And when I planted my cucumbers, I read, don't plant them next to each other, because if one plant has a problem, it will easily spread to the next plant. And when you plant a garden, you shouldn't group all of your plants together, because then the pests can find all of them and go from plant to plant to plant and make it really easy. This is my crookneck, one of them. This is a cucumber. They specifically mentioned cabbages and said that these can be interspersed with your other vegetables. And I had to hurry and get mine in. I couldn't wait to put them in another garden bed over there. So all mine have been put together, but so far they're looking good. They got a few insects kind of chewing holes in the leaves. But anyway, here's another crookneck. And then we come down here to another cucumber. This one isn't growing as tall or as fast, but it looks good. And it's got blossoms on it and cucumbers coming already. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with this one. See a cucumber down there. So it's doing well. Then we have another crookneck here, and I've picked squash from it. I've got my basils right here, and I'm getting ready to cut this one back down, and same with that one. And this cucumber is just really taken off, and it's gone way up here past the top of the thing that we built here, trellis, and be interesting to see if we can train it to go back over, or if it just flops over. I've never put cucumbers on a trellis before, but I'm going to do it every year. And I'm also going to put my beans, I'm going to try pole beans next year and see how well they do to save more space in the garden. But this has got healthy leaves and blossoms, and we've picked 2 or 3 cucumbers from it already, so it's doing quite well, and it does not have the problem that the first one down there has. So I have no idea. I'm just thinking it's got some kind of a virus, and it's really sad that it started out so well and there's no blossoms. I just don't understand that. Here we have our butternut squash, and we've got some blossoms on it, and a couple of butternut squashes growing already. And here in this part of the garden, this is my spaghetti squash, and it has struggled all season because it has had multiple squash bugs that I've found on it and multiple eggs. I can't even count how many now. But one of the problems it's had is, you can see it starts new growth and then I don't understand what the deal is. See, this is all dried up. It's like it's burned in some way. But been getting plenty of water. It may be that it can't tolerate the heat, but I've had spaghetti squash before, and I've had tons of blossoms. And one plant, one year, we harvested 13 spaghetti squashes, and this plant only has 2. We got one here and one over there, and there are no blossoms. It's like the blossoms just didn't come anymore. So I don't know what the deal is, but I'm hoping it'll snap out of it and I'll get some more blossoms. We still have about 60 days left in the growing season. A little bit more than that, but we'll see. If we get an early frost, we won't have a lot of luck with a spaghetti squash this year. Next year I will be moving my squashes down to my very first garden bed that I have, clear on the other end. I don't know if you can see it from here, probably not, but anyway, so I don't want them in the same area, so that the pests will find a little bit more difficult to find. There'll probably be some squash bugs in the soil here. I don't know where they come from. I found one last week that flew, and I don't know if they all fly long distances and they can tell when a blossom opens up and it's time to attack the plant, or if they just carry over from year to year. I don't know that much about them. But anyway, that's one of the problems that we've been having, is with the squash bugs. And yeah, see, I got a cucumber about ready to pick. Yay! Anyway, that's what we're working on in the garden today. With the tomatoes, I've put a soaker hose in here temporarily. I mean, this is a super cheap one, and it tends to sprout geysers after you use it for a while. But we have over 100-degree temperatures, and they need some deep watering, deep drip watering. And so we put this in here temporarily till we get our other system hooked up. And I've added more mulch to it. It needs a lot more. This is alfalfa that we've had growing in various parts in our garden, our yard, and I've just cut it down and put it on top here to help keep some of this moisture in the soil so that it doesn't dry out so quickly. I also weeded, and I put the weeds on top. Now I know some people get really, they really don't like weeds anywhere in the garden, dead or alive. Now, I was very careful to make sure there were no seeds on the top, but they make a great mulch, and they put some greens back into the garden. And I use them every year. I've not had them re-sprout, probably because they lay on top and they just wither up and dry up, and no more weeds come from them. But they add to my mulches that I have here. And getting some tomatoes. I have not put these in cages yet. I might stake them up, or I might put them in the cages. I haven't decided yet, but we have to get our water system in before we do anything with how we're going to, whether we tie them up on a stake of some kind or piece of rebar, or if we use a tomato cage. I don't know what we'll do. But anyway, that's what's going on in my garden today. Talk to you later.